Welcome to our first episode. Today we are talking about something that's on everybody's mind, AI. But instead of talking about AI in general, we are going to talk about AI in education. Is it just an hype or it's actually making a difference? To answer that, we have someone who's been living and breathing this space. Mohammad Azharuddin, an award-winning innovator and a mind behind GyanKosh. Azhar, let's start it simple. Whenever you say AI in education, what do you really mean?
Pawan, a lot of people imagine AI in education as this a robot standing in a classroom and teaching students like in a sci-fi movie. But in reality, that's not true. So for me, AI in education is far less about robotics and far more about the efficiency that it brings to the students, the personalization that it gives it to the students, and the barriers it breaks into the teaching and education field. So these are the most important aspects that I look into. And let's say we think about a day in teacher's life, then they are teaching, but they're also doing lesson planning, they're also doing they're also grading assignments, tracking attendance, answering parent questions, making timetables, and most of that is repetitive work. So AI can quietly take 40 to 50% of that day, that load away. So what I mean to say is teachers are meant for doing the teaching as a sole purpose. So their primary goal is teaching. But now in today's time, teachers are into doing the documentations every day, and this is not for one time. This is actually repetitive. So teachers do it for maybe every weekend or every day or maybe every month. So this is repetitive task that's going on. So for example, in GyanKosh, a tool like GyanKosh, a teacher doesn't sit down and manually type lesson plans anymore. So they just select the topic, then they select the grade, and the AI generates a full lesson plan with activities, suggested videos, even quiz questions. So if a student misses a class, the system automatically sends them the lesson recap and practice exercises. So it's like having a personal teaching assistant who works 24/7 and never complains. And for students, it's about making learning personal. So personalization of learning is there. So one student might grasp concepts quickly, another might need more practice. Now why I'm telling this thing is teachers will relate to my statement. So there are few fast learners, there are few slow learners. Now AI should adjust for both without embarrassing the slow learner or boring the fast one. So both should not happen. Now that's the magic of AI that we have.
But with all that potential, many schools hesitate to implement AI in that. What do you think the reason behind this?
Yeah, you're right, Pawan. But honestly, it's human nature. So we resist change when it feels unknown to us. Okay, so I've spoken to principals who said, Azhar, we have been running schools for decades without AI. Why do we need it now? So when they ask this question, I always say that it's not about replacing your old system that you have been continuing since decades. It's about making it better using AI. So teachers worry it will be complicated or that they'll lose their jobs. Now institutions think it will be expensive or disruptive. But the truth is that if AI is designed well, it's invisible. Now, what do I mean by invisibility? Teachers shouldn't even feel like they are using AI. It should feel like they are just teaching and the system is magically helping them in background. So one of my favorite examples is a teacher in Karnataka told me once that earlier when I assigned homework, I would spend my Sunday evenings correcting it. So now after implementing GyanKosh grades it instantly, gives student feedbacks, and I just review the summary. Now after listening this, I just imagine the stress that our tool GyanKosh has removed from the teacher's life.
That's a good example, but after, let's say, after 5 years or after 10 years, where do you think AI will make its biggest impact?
AI and its impact in the education. So for that, if I had to pick one or two, then I would say first one is assessments and the second one is lab experiments. So assessments, because right now we assess knowledge like it's still the 80s 90s kind of thing. So just give an exam, wait a week for results, and by then the students has moved on. So students has moved on to the next semester, let's say next year, and the result are not yet declared. Okay, so this problem is still persisting. So this is the first thing. Now the second is the lab experiments. So because that's where the magic happens now. Now let's say a student is doing a virtual lab experiment in our tool GyanKosh. So if they connect a wire incorrectly in a circuit, the AI doesn't just mark it wrong and say it is wrong, but it pauses the experiment, highlights the mistake, and suggests the correct connection right there. So everything the trainer or the teacher will get to know that where the student is making the mistake while doing the experiment, and all this data is being stored. So in the first try he's doing a problem is happening in the first try, the student is committing a mistake in the experiment. Now in the second try he can correct that mistake. No, that's where the virtual lab component highlights. Now that's like similar to having a lab instructor next to you at all times 24/7. So imagine a student in a small town running a full quantum circuit simulation. So maybe affording a quantum circuit simulation trainer kit or quantum circuits is very hard for a student studying in a rural area. But with tool like GyanKosh, he can do it instantly. Not only that, even practicing CNC machines. So buying a CNC machine, keeping it at home and practicing it every day is really hard. And even impractical also. So, but with a tool like GyanKosh, they can just do it. So without even thinking to step into a physical lab, the student can perform the experiment. Oh no, that's transformative. And you know what the beauty is, this feedback loop helps students learn faster and retain more. And for teachers, it's a gold mine. Now they get a dashboard showing which students struggled on which concepts, so they can address it in the very next class. So the whole tracking is going on for each student.
What do you think about the rural areas where there are very limited resources, and how can AI help the students over there?
This is one of my favorite parts of what we are doing right now. So for this, to explain this, I need to tell you my backstory a bit. So I studied in a government school from my class 1 to class 10th, and even my parents are government teachers. So I grew up seeing schools, including mine, where labs were just cupboards with a few broken tools. To be honest, in my school, those cupboards were never opened. Not even a single experiment was conducted. Even when I was in 10th class, what we call board exam year, so even then the cupboards were not opened. Now I would only see an experiment in a textbook diagram and just imagine that how experiment goes on. I would only see the experiment and understand the reactions that are taking place. So this was 5-6 years back, and I thought things must have improved by now. But when I started working in education technology, that is edtech, I realized it wasn't just my school. The situation is still the same in many schools today. So students still only see an experiment in a textbook diagram. But with AI, we can change that without waiting for budgets to build $1 million labs. So you don't need big equipments in your laboratories. We can give every school a virtual lab. Physics, chemistry, electronics, you just name it. We can give it anything. We can build it up in virtual environment. Accessible from a single computer or even a mobile phone is damn easy. So for the cost of one textbook, they can run hundreds of experiments. That's the kind of leap technology should bring. Now, one teacher told me for the first time when my students were excited about physics because they could see it happen. That's the kind of impact that makes this worth it.
Let's get practical. If a school or college wants to start using AI or they want to adapt to the system, then what's your advice for them?
Okay, so I would say start small, start simple. Now, don't try to what we call AIfy your whole institution overnight. That can't happen. Pick one area where you feel the most pain. Maybe attendance, maybe lesson planning, maybe lab work. See the impact there first, because that's the major backbone of an institution. I personally recommend starting with the learning side. Get a proper learning management system in place, like our tool GyanKosh. Once your teachers and students are comfortable, you can expand into exams with an examination management system, for admissions with an admission management system, for libraries with the library management system, device monitoring, asset monitoring, HRMS for staff, hostel management, transport tracking, placement management, even safe vault and storage system for your institution. And the good part is GyanKosh already has all these modules under one single roof. So you as an institution can start small and then grow into a full AI powered ecosystem without switching platforms every time.
Give me one small success story from GyanKosh that stuck with you.
Okay, for a teacher?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a science teacher who used to spend 3-4 evenings a week preparing lab instructions, grading reports, and creating teaching aids. But after switching to GyanKosh, she used our AI to auto-generate experiment guides, our grading assistant to handle reports, and we also have 100+ AI teaching aid tools to create teaching aids and resources in just few clicks. You do not need to write prompts also. You just have to click on few buttons and everything will be done by our software. And she told me that, Azhar, I finally have time to have dinner with my family on weekends. So that's when I realized we are not just making education better, we are making lives better. And that's the real win for me.
And one feature that students absolutely love.
Okay, so there are many, but if I have to name one, we believe in learning with fun. So we have developed course-centric games. Basically, in the courses section, students can pick any topic from their syllabus and play games designed specifically for that topic. And the twist, by playing, they actually master the concept without feeling like they are studying. So we also have an overall leaderboard, so it becomes competitive. Students will play again and again just to beat their friends' scores. And in this progress, they are learning deeply. So the more they play, the more perfectly they get in those topics. And because of our AI personalizes the game for each student's learning ability. So our AI will do everything for the student and create a game. It's never too easy or too hard. It's one of the most loved features we have built till now. So earlier I was feeling difficult to grasp topics, but if I learn those topics using games, then it becomes very easy for me.
There's also concern that AI increases the screen time. So is that true?
That's a fair concern, Pawan. Every parent has that. But here is the thing. Now, it's not about the number of minutes a student spends on a screen. It's about what those minutes are doing for them. If a student spends 2 hours scrolling social media, let's say Instagram, that's called passive consumption. And if they spend 30 minutes running a simulation, practicing problem solving, or playing a learning game that we have developed, so that sharpens their skills. That's called active, intentional, and valuable consumption. Now the goal with GyanKosh is not to keep students glued to a screen. It's to make the time they do spend as impactful as possible. And ironically, by making lessons more efficient, AI can actually shorten learning time. Now, if a topic takes 3 hours to teach traditionally, but AI-powered tools help a student grasp it in 1 hour. So they gain 2 hours back to go outside, play, and live their life. That's the balance we aim for. So learning also and playing with fun also.